Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a video talking through some kind of knitting plans I have for the next few months, but these are plans using only yarn that is in my stash. Because I'm trying this year to not buy any yarn. The plan is to use up the yarn that's in my stash ahead of a trip to Copenhagen in November for my birthday. So far this year I have not bought any yarn. I've just been using what's in my stash and it's been going quite well. I'm very proud. So all of these plans are just using stash yarn. I also am acutely aware we're coming to the end of May, and in the UK we're experiencing a bit of a heat wave. It's cooled down a little bit, but it's still quite hot. There are no plans like to do with summer patterns. I'm sorry, I'm not a summer knitting girly. I am a true wool and mohair girl through and through. I love a jumper, I love a slipover. I just can't bring myself to make like a cute little summer top. Maybe one day I will. I would love to. I think they're so beautiful and there's so many beautiful patterns out there. I just can't bring myself to do it. So spoiler alert, there aren't really any summer friendly patterns within this video, but I love watching other people's knitting plans and getting inspiration from different patterns that people have come across. So this is kind of my entry into it. I may not end up making all of these. I may not end up making most of them, but at the moment, these are my plans and these are things that I'm looking forward to making. So we will start with what I'm wearing, and this is the Boyfriend Slipover by Typical Bliss. I knit this up in drops Flora and drops Kidsilk, which I believe is the yarn the pattern called for, and this in the hot pink kind of colour. I love this slipover. It really is the perfect slipover, and we will get to it later in the video because I am tempted to make another one with some yarn that I have. So we will start with main kind of garment pieces. I do have a few projects that I've already cast on, or ones that I have done swatches for, so we will start with those. The first one is the In the Mood Beanie by Spektakelstrik. This one I talked about in my last upload of my knitting podcast, where I had cast on the In the Mood Beanie by Spektakelstrik. So this is using leftover yarn from my porcelain sweater that I made last year. So this is Sandness Garn Peer-Gynt held double with their Kidsilk mohair in the jolly blue colour and white. I love this. This has been something I've just picked up and kind of carried on with. Obviously, there is no pressure to finish it immediately because we're not in hat wearing weather. But yeah, so this is my first project that I'm using to kind of get rid of this yarn because I don't have enough really to make another garment. So the hat is the perfect project. Next up is the Dual Loops. Oh, hi Milo. Dual Loops Beanie by Other Loops. So my plan for this, and I have done a gauge swatch, is to knit it with the Isia Jensen yarn held with their mohair in this red colour. So I have literally one skein of the mohair, but I do have two hanks of Jensen. So I have caked one up in order to do the gauge swatch, but my plan is to hold it with the one skein of mohair that I have. I believe this should be enough for the hat. I'm praying so anyway. I mean, if not, then I may have to buy another one, but I don't really want to do that because the meterage is quite good. I mean, it's 212 meters. I have a really small head, so I always make the smallest hat size anyway. So I'm thinking that that should be enough, and I am hoping and praying. So there'll be my two hats that I'm planning on making this year, plus whatever other hat I end up casting on for Noah. But for myself, those are the two hats. So next that I have done a gauge swatch for is the Scrappy Checkers sweater by Erin Gumond. I believe her Instagram handle is Piggy Femme. I believe this has been released with Pom Pom, and this is the child and baby version of the sweater. So I have done a gauge swatch for this. So I believe the pattern calls for Aran weight, but for me personally I will be doing it in DK weight yarn. So I am doing it off gauge, so I'm making a bigger size than what I need for Noah. But this is the gauge swatch that I've done. These are the colourways I'm going to be using. The main colour is drops Merino Extra Fine in the off-white, and the rest are just different types of DK that I have left over in stash. For example, like the blue is a drops Charisma from a jumper I made about 2 years ago. So, you know, it's just going to be using a lot of yarn in my stash, and I think it's a really cool idea. And also I'm making the most of the fact that Noah is unable to tell me what colours he wants to wear, so I basically get full pick and it's great. So this will be cast on today and I'm very excited to cast it on. And I just think it'll be a really good way of kind of using up a lot of scrap yarn. I've also had an idea that I would love to make a scrappy intarsia kind of pattern for Noah. It would be a drop shoulder, I was thinking about using the Holger sweater by Petite Knit as kind of like my base, and then doing the colour work all over that I want. So basically I came across this picture on Pinterest and I just think it's so cool and I can't stop thinking about it, and I would love to make one a bit like that. So I'm thinking I'll do that, but let's get, you know, let's do this one first. Speaking of Isia mohair, so I have 3 balls of Isia soft silk mohair in this green colour, and I was thinking about casting on the Jelly Top by Mei Bruns. I just think it's beautiful. I think it helps that the display picture on Ravelry is also in like a green colour, and I just think it would look so cute. So I would love to cast this on. I saw somebody on TikTok making it, and honestly I can't stop thinking about it. So I just think, how pretty would that look in this mohair? Because I love this shade of green. I never really wear it, and I really think that I should. So I'm going to be, I would love to cast that one on, and I just think it'll be so cute. Speaking of mohair projects, for my Dagmar jacket, I had purchased last year hot pink mohair by Drops, the Drops Kidsilk, to be held double with Cascade 220 for the Dagmar. I then did a gauge swatch, didn't like how the mohair looked with the Cascade 220, so never ended up casting it on with the mohair. So I now have 6 balls of this with nothing to do with it. So I had the plan of, I was going to cast on the, potentially maybe the Summer Lotus by, I'm going to butcher this name, so I'm just going to put it on the screen because I won't be able to pronounce that. However, I saw another person on YouTube, Bethany Glover, did the Valerie blouse by Petite Knit, and she used Drops Kidsilk, and it looked gorgeous. I think she did like a burgundy colour, so it was slightly different. So I kind of want to use it for that. I have been majorly influenced. So I don't really know which way I'm going to go. I'm thinking maybe I'll do the Jelly Top first and then cast this one on. I don't know. I can't quite decide, but I'm obsessed with it, and I just think it would look so cute. So let me know which one people think would be better. I think I just like the Valerie blouse because of the buttons. I think that's a really cool detail. But the idea of knitting flat in mohair and that much purling with mohair, I'm not so sure about. I think that's what's putting me off of it. I just can't decide. So let me know what you guys think. Next up is another accessory, and that is the Kitten Catch Mittens by Florence Miller. So I bought this yarn to make a pair of socks with, and never ended up making the pair of socks, but I think the cats in this colour would look so cute. So this is the West Yorkshire Spinners signature 4-ply in this pink colour. It's called Honeysuckle, and I just think the cats in this would look really cute with like a white background. So I don't have any white sock yarn, so I would have to purchase some white sock yarn, which goes against my ban, but obviously I can't do it all in one. And I just think it would look so cute. So I probably purchased the white of this, to be honest. I think hold them together. And I just think, oh, it would look so cute. And let's be honest, I'm not going to use a whole ball, so I would probably have leftovers to do with what I wish as well, which will be quite cool. So yeah, I just think these mittens are really cute and I would love them for the winter. So I'm thinking if I cast them on this summer, they'll be there ready for when it gets colder. Next up is some Drops Lima that I have in my stash. So if you've watched any of the videos I've uploaded previously on this channel, granted not all that recently, but still, I love Drops Lima. Drops Lima is a love of mine. I just love it. I think it's such a good yarn. It's so affordable, and I will use it whenever I can. Now, it's a bit rusticy, so I try not to use it for Noah's knits. So it's more for myself, but I just love it. I think it holds up really well. I think it looks great for anything with texture. I just love it. So I have a fair bit of Drops Lima in my stash that I just don't really know what to do with. So first up is the Drops Lima in the petrol blue colour. So it's this blue and it's got like speckles of green in it. I don't know if it's showing up very well on camera. And I just think it is so cute. And I haven't really been sure what to do with it, but I'm thinking maybe a vest. So that's where this comes in. I was thinking maybe I make another one of these because I love this pattern and I love the fit of the pattern, and I just think it would work really well. But also I came across the Centre vest by Trust the Mojo, and I thought that with that kind of lace detailing would look so cute. Like that in this colour, can you imagine? I think it would just look really pretty. So I'm not really sure, but I know I'm going to make a vest out of this yarn. I'm just not really sure what vest yet, but it will be a vest. So I'm not sure what vest, but I will make a vest with this yarn, and I think it will look so cute. So next in Drop Slima, I have this khaki dark green colour, and I have about a sweater's quantity, I would say, of it. Originally, I was going to cast on the Brady Loop sweater with this. That's what I bought this for. That was the intention. I even bought the pattern. I never got around to making it, and then, I'll be honest, I saw people criticising the fit of the pattern, and as somebody who is quite petite, but I have quite broad shoulders, people's criticisms were not filling me with confidence that it would look good on me, so I didn't end up casting it on. So it's kind of just sat in stash. So with this, I'm considering making the Edna sweater by, and I'm going to butcher this, Yndlingsting. I'll put it on the screen. I just think this pattern is so beautiful. So it calls for Peer Gynt, kind of a dupe for Peer Gynt, so it could work. I would have to check my gauge, I suppose. I just think this pattern is gorgeous. I think the cable detailing is beautiful, and I believe that Drop Slima looks really good on a cabled sweater, so I think it will look really cute. So yeah, so I would like to cast this on within this. I love a cable. It's good to have cables on the go. I need to finish my sweater number 29 before I cast on any new cables, but I just think this one will look so pretty. So my only other idea that I kind of have is the Mood Slipover by Spektakelstrik. So it's very similar pattern to the In the Mood hat, except it's on a sweater, and this would be for Noah. And I saw this one in the Ravelry projects, I'll put a picture up, of, instead of the pattern just being at the bottom, it was all the way up, and I thought it looked so cool in different colours, and I think that'll be another good way to use up some scrap yarn. I believe the pattern calls for DK weight, and I was just thinking about all different ways. So I was thinking like a white and a pink would look really cool, using like the different greens that I kind of have in stash. Like a dark green with a light green would also look really cool. So I'm thinking that would look really cute as well. But my plan is to do the Scrappy Checkers sweater first and see kind of what scrap DK I have left after that. I think that's a good way to go about it. So yeah, so this is a wrap up of things that I've been thinking about making. If you couldn't tell, my Ravelry queue is quite chaotic. In all honesty, I come up with new inspiration all of the time. So this will potentially change in 2 months' time, but at the moment these are the things that I would like to cast on, and these are hopefully what I'm going to be working on. Hopefully I'll be able to give updates in my knitting podcast as I go. So yeah, so if anyone has any other ideas for the yarns that I've mentioned, or any other kind of scrappy projects that you think would be of interest to me, please let me know. Always open for new inspiration. Absolutely love changing my mind. And yeah, if you've watched this far, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.